Hello students, welcome back to your science class. So student, in the previous class in this chapter, that is matter around dispute, we were talking about the properties of the metal. We have seen that what are the different properties, including that metals are what? They are solid at room temperature. Metals generally, they are what? They are malleable, they are ductile. Metals, they are of a very few colors. It means generally they are a grey or a white in color. Metals, they are sonorous. Metals are hard. Metals are having high tensile strength. They are having high melting and boiling point, as well as they are a very good conductor of heat and electricity. Now let us move on and try to understand that what are the different properties of the non-metal and how differ from that of the metal itself. Properties of non-metal. So the first property of the non-metal I already had discussed, that they generally exist in solid, liquid and gas. Most of them are in the gaseous state, some of them will be in the solid state, while one is in a liquid state. Non-metals, they are what? They are present in a different colors. Okay, we have seen, if we talk about the phosphorus exists in a white color or red color. Sulfur, that exists in a yellow color. Bromine, reddish brown in color. Chlorine, greenish yellow in color. Okay, mercury, yes, obviously it is a metal only, so there is no. So, if we talk about the hydrogen, oxygen, these are what? These are colorless. So they exist in a different colors. Next property is non-metals are non-malleable, nor ductile. These are non-malleable nor ductile. So, how can we say these are neither malleable nor ductile. Okay, malleability means for students that when we hit it with the hard object with the hammer, it can be drawn into thin sheet, that we call as a malleability property, and the substance which shows that it is what? It is malleable. Non-malleable are what? They are generally, non-metals are what? They are generally non-malleable. It means when we hit it with a hard object, it will break down into the pieces. Okay. Not only this, even ductile, we know that the property of a ductility shows that when we hit it with a hard object, it can be drawn into thin wires. But in case of a non-metal, again, it cannot be drawn into thin wires. Hitting it with a hard object, break into pieces. Okay, so they are generally non-malleable, they are generally ductile. Instead of that, this property in which when we hit an object with a hard object, break into pieces, that we call as a brittleness. So non-metals are generally brittle. Okay. These are generally brittle and break into pieces. Break into pieces on hammering. So these are generally brittle and they break into pieces on hammering. Next one is non-metals. They are what? They are they are a poor conductor of electricity. So we can say they are non-conductor of heat and electricity. Okay, so non-metals are not conductor of heat and electricity. They are not a conductor of a heat and electricity. And the reason is, in case of a non-metal, there is no such free electron present. That's why most of the non-metal, they are not a good conductor of a heat and electricity. It do not help in the conduction of the heat and that of the electricity through it. Whereas there is an exception also, student, like carbon. Carbon is what? It is a non-metal, and we know that carbon exists in a two allotropic form, and these two allotropic form of a carbon is what? That is diamond and graphite. Diamond and graphite are what? These are the two allotropic form of a carbon. It means both of them, they consisting of a carbon content in it, but they differ from each other on the basis of their structure, and obviously their properties also different from each other. So diamond is what? That is a non-metal which is a good conductor of a heat, but yes, it is a bad conductor of electricity. So this is what? Good conductor of heat. While in case of the graphite is an allotropic form of a carbon which is a non-metal, and that is a good conductor of electricity. Okay, so diamond is what? Good conductor of a heat, and graphite is what? That is a good conductor of an electricity. Okay, both of them are what? They are the non-metals, that is the carbon only. Now, if we talk about the graphite, because of its property that they are a good conductor of electricity, it allows the electric current to pass through it. It is used in that of the batteries as well as in the dry cell as an electrode. We have heard about carbon rods. Carbon rod are what? They are nothing but they are the graphite rod which help in the conduction, and that's why we can say it is used in batteries, in cell, in the form of a rod, in the form of an electrode. Okay, because these rods are connected to the two terminals of the battery or the cell. That's why we are calling it as an electrode only. Okay, so carbon in which the graphite is what? Good conductor of electricity, while diamond is what? That is a good conductor of a heat. Then non-metals, they are non-lustrous and have dull appearance. Non-metals are non-lustrous and dull in appearance. Yes, we have seen in case of the metals. So metals are generally lustrous, students, that it is having a shiny appearance. But in case of a non-metals are what? They are non-lustrous and they do not have a shiny appearance. Instead, they are having the dull appearance. Again, an exception is there, student, that is iodine, which is having the shiny surface. So generally, they are non-lustrous except iodine, which is having shiny surface. Okay, which is having the shiny surface. So non-metal, they are non-lustrous, they are they are generally dull in appearance, but except that of the iodine. Other one, they are dull in appearance. Now, non-metals, we have seen in case of metals, metals are generally hard, and the reason, students, it is because of the bonding which is present in it. The bonding and everything we will going to discuss in the higher section, student, in class 10. Till then, you must know that the metals are generally hard. What about the non-metals? Non-metals are generally soft. You can understand by this that they are non-malleable and ductile. It means when it is heated, when it is hit with that of a strong object, then it will break into pieces. So they are generally soft. Again, an exception is there, and that exception is the diamond. Diamond is what? It is a form of a carbon, which is a non-metal, but diamond is considered to be the hardest substance till known. Okay, it is used for cutting the stones also. So, non-metals are generally soft. Non-metals, they are generally soft. Like lot of them are there. Exception is there, student, and that exception is of a diamond, which is a hardest substance. It is the hardest substance till known. Okay, this is a non-metal which is very hard. Okay. Sulfur, phosphorus can be cut with the knife. So you can understand by this that, and other one, they are the gases only. Like bromine is a liquid. So most of the non-metals, they are generally soft. An exception is there, that is of a diamond, which we consider as the hardest substance. But the other, and why it is the hardest substance? It is because of its structure. It is having the 3D structure which make it a hard substance. While all other, they can be cut with the help of a knife, and even they are what? They are very soft. They are not very hard, as we have seen in case of a metal, students. What about the melting and the boiling point? Obviously, if it is not a hard substance, it is a soft one. So its melting point and boiling point will also be low. So we can say that the non-metals have comparatively low melting and boiling point. Comparatively, they are having the low melting and boiling point. Non-metals, they generally have a low melting and a boiling point. And if we talk about the example, students, so boron is there, graphite is there, low melting and a boiling point. Like if we talk about the oxygen and nitrogen, yes, graphite and diamond, both of them are having the high melting point and boiling point. Obviously, diamond is considered to be the hardest substance because of its structure, so we need more amount of a heat in order to melt it. Similarly, in case of a graphite also need a good amount of a heat in order to melt itself. So for the melting point and the boiling point, generally if we talk about the non-metals, they are having the low melting and a boiling point. Reason is the same, student. In case of a metals, we have seen that they are what? They are generally hard. It means they are attached with each other with the help of a strong bond. While in case of a non-metal, you will see that non-metals are generally what? They are having the... So non-metals, they generally have a low melting and a boiling point. Then non-metals, they are having the low density also. Non-metals have low densities. They are having the low densities. It means the reason is having the low density students, they are generally light one. So that's why the mass by volume will be less, and obviously if it will be less, then the density will also be less here. So the density of all the maximum of the non-metal, they are generally low, except exception is again there, that is of iodine. Iodine density is quite higher than the other non-metal. Okay, last one is the non-metals are non-sonorous. Non-metals are generally non-sonorous. So when we heat when we struck an object with the when struck in the metal with a hard object, then it produces sound, that is the sonority, that is sonorous. But in case of a non-metal, no such kind of a noise, no such kind of a sound will come out through the non-metal. So obviously that's why it is called as the non-sonorous. So non-metals are generally non-sonorous. They do not produce the ringing sound like the metal used to produce. Okay, this is the difference. This is the properties of that of the metals and that of the non-metals. Okay, now let us see what are metalloids. Metalloids are what which generally shows both of the properties of the metal as well as it shows the properties of the non-metal. Metalloids. Metalloids are what? Metalloids. These are the borderline element which exhibits the properties of metals and non-metals, which shows both of the property, that is metal and non-metal. Example: silicon, germanium, gallium, boron, arsenic, bismuth, antimony. Okay, these are what, student? These are some of the metalloids which exhibit both of the property, which shows both of the properties, that is the property of the metal as well as that of the non-metals. Okay, so these are the borderline elements which is showing the properties of both of the elements, types of the element, that is metal and non-metal, student. I hope you have understood the properties and of the metal as well as the non-metal. If any difference that will come, you will write in case of the metal. The first one is, with the help of the properties only, it will be quite very easy for you to distinguish between the metal and non-metal. The first one is that metals are generally solid, but non-metals can exist in all the three forms, that is solid, liquid and gas. Second one is, metals generally exist in a grey or white in a color, but the non-metals occur in a different colors. The third one, metals are generally malleable. Non-metals, they are non-malleable. Metals are ductile. Non-malleable, they are non-ductile. Metals are non-brittle, but the non-metals are brittle. Then metals, they show this sonority. They produce sound when hit with an object, produces ringing sound. They are sonorous. Non-metals are non-sonorous. Metals, they are hard. Non-metals, they are soft. Metals, they are having a high melting and a boiling point. Non-metals, they are generally having the low melting and a boiling point. Metals, they they are a good conductor of heat and electricity, while the non-metal, they are the poor conductor of heat and electricity. Metals, they are generally having high tensile strength, while the non-metals, they do not have they are having the low tensile strength. Metals are of high density, non-metals, they are of a low density. So these are what, student, these are all the properties with the help of which we can distinguish between that of the metal and non-metal. Remember that exception is also there. So the question that can be asked regarding in the MCQs, it can be with the properties, it can be with the exceptions also, because the question can be asked that out of these, which you will consider as a consisting of a high melting and a boiling point. So there it can be given as a sulfur, phosphorus, oxygen, as well as diamond or carbon. So you will write there as a diamond because it is considered to be the high melting and a boiling point in case of all the non-metal. The question can be asked out of which will be considered as the harder one. So obviously, so diamond is there, and the sulfur is there, phosphorus is there, and nitrogen is there. So you will going to take on the diamond only because it is the harder substance. So question can be asked on the basis of exception, it can be asked on the basis of the properties. Okay, so we must know the general properties as well as including that of the exceptions. Now moving on, we have understood here what about the elements. Elements are the pure substances. Yes, it has been classified into two. Now let us start to understand the compound. So, compound. In case of a compound is what? It is again a pure substance, okay, which is formed by the combination of two or more elements. So, compound is a pure substance. It is a pure substance which is formed by the combination of two or more elements in a definite proportion by mass. In a definite proportion by mass. Okay, so compound is what? Is a pure substance which is formed by the combination of two or more elements. So when a two or more element they combine together in a definite proportion by mass, that we call as a compound here. Example is a student, if we take an example of a H2O. So H2O is what? Here how H2O is a compound, remember. It is a compound, and how this H2O is formed? It is a combination of two or more elements. One is hydrogen, another one is the oxygen. When these two elements they have combined together, then there is a formation of this compound. Now we are saying that they used to combine in a definite proportion by mass. How? If we take the atomic mass here, so hydrogen, the atomic mass of the hydrogen is 1. How many hydrogens are there? That is 2. So we will going to write here 2. Ratio. Definite proportion we are seeing by mass. Oxygen atomic mass is the student, that is 60. So this will cancel each other and it will become 1:8. So we are taking the compound, this water from anywhere, the ratio will remains the same. It will always 1:8. So whenever the hydrogen and oxygen they combine together to form water, they will always combine together in a fixed ratio by mass, by fixed proportion by mass, and that is 1:8. Similarly, if we take an example of a carbon dioxide. CO2. In case of a carbon dioxide, whenever the carbon and oxygen they combine together, they always combine together in a fixed proportion, and that is 3:8. How does it come, student? Carbon, its atomic mass is 12, while that of oxygen is 16. So 16 into 2, that is 32. When you divide both of them, you will get 3:8. So, whenever the carbon and oxygen, they combine to form carbon dioxide, they will always combine together in 3:8.